Hello, Dan. Sound good? Don't scare. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Thursday Night Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. I know it's been a few weeks. Hope everyone had a tremendous 4th. Happy 250th of the USA. Hope everyone had a great time. Trying to get on last week, and just couldn't get it to happen. So, welcome back. We're back in action on a Thursday night, 8 p.m. Let's do a little sound check. Hope everyone's good. And the video looks good. Everything looks good online so far. That's good, good, good. Yeah. Let's see. We got Dan, Brian. You should ask Scott all your questions about spraying can. I'm not going to go through too many of those. Brian Moore, what's happening? Ray Shea. Brian Keith. Todd Keith, what's going on? What's we got here? We scroll. I can't scroll on my YouTube, on my teleprompter, so I can scroll here, though. Make sure I miss one. Joe Walker, Ron. Yeah, so Dan. Cool. Oh, we got a super chat already. Thank you very, very much. Cool, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Bravo Brushworks, what's going on? Welcome. We got Bug. Oh, James Bug Gregory. Yes, thank you. Cool. All right, what do we got going on tonight? This is what we got going on tonight. I'm going to bring up the reference image here. We're doing Chrome 3-dimensional lettering. So if you guys saw this week, I did I should have asked what year it was. It's a custom. So I want to say, I think it was a late 60s, early 70s Malibu called the Malibu, which some people are like, oh, you spelled it wrong. Like, yeah, I know I spelled it wrong because that's what the guy wanted. It's a blue Malibu. It's got a big blown motor in it. Full custom, all resto mod, done by AK Rods and Customs. So we did the Malibu logo to look like the old Malibu badge. We gave it a 3-dimensional look, painted it on the side of the car. And it was a really, really cool lick. Really, really cool look. It's something I've done quite a bit, but I've never done a video on it. So I figured with that being the case, and I was already kind of in the mindset, it would be a good time to do it. So I've already created this vector file. It's pinned to the top. If anyone's interested, the file has both. It's set up just like it is here. So it's the same file. It's got both styles of lettering. And the lettering style is basically, let me bring up, let me go to this camera angle here. So this is what the file looks like when you get it. And obviously with the file you can take it apart and separate it. It comes in two sizes. The size I'm doing here, which is 11 by 17 panel, and then have it set up for a Cameo or Cricut cutter, which is like 9 by 12, 9 by 13 size. But same file, so it comes with both. And what it is, the file separated in just the outer, and then the outer with the inner detail for both of these, okay? And you'll see why I did it that way. And that's set up so we're going to be able to, we have what's already cut, and then we're going to inlay the detail. So this is kind of a two-part. There's a lot to this lesson plan. It goes with any lettering. If you're on a dark surface, you're going to put the mask, which is going to be the positive mask. I mean the negative mask, which is going to leave the lettering open, so you can put a base color in. And then once the base color's in, you can reinsert or inlay the lettering with all the cuts and detail, and then we're going to unmask and pull and do all the shading. So that's how you do most lettering. And that's a good way to start, and it kind of sets you up for future stuff when you got to do lettering with pinstripe, lettering with outlines that are drop shadows. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. But that's how this file is set up. It is set up just like this, okay? And it's a $15 download. It's not cheap. It's not expensive. It's cool. It's probably something I'll add to. And if you are a member, you get 25% off. So instead of 15, I think it's 11 and a quarter. So it's cheap. And realistically, to talk about, like, I've been preparing everyone for these for a while now. Everything I'm teaching in this lesson, everything I'm teaching in this lesson stems from these, which is all my intro stuff. Yeah, Joe, it's like 11 and a quarter or something like that. So all the basics we did with this, all the basics we did with this and how to shade, everything I've taught already, especially this one here, like this, all this is going to play into what we're doing tonight. So all these fundamentals, that's why I taught these fundamentals on shading and light sourcing, how everything works in these lessons and the chains. These are the fundamentals, guys. You figure how this all works and how this light shading works and how this works and how this looks three-dimensional. You guys have all seen these. You guys have been following. You do these first, like a prerequisite to this. What we're doing here and here is what's going to go into the chrome lettering, that chrome lettering effect. Like that. Pretty clear? I think we're good. You remember them all. Cool, Thomas. Thank you. What's we got? Marcus, what's going on? You need to mix candy with 40-50 UVLS as a carrier. Yes. Yeah, so the way you mix candies, I think Brian knows, but there's two ways you mix candies, realistically. When I mix them for airbrushing tonight, and I've mixed a few candies, I mix them 1-to-1. 1 part 40-50, 1 part candy. That is strictly for airbrushing. That is not for big overall colors. You can shade graphics, you can shade areas, but you don't want to build like an entire panel this big with that. That's that mixture. If you're gonna, that's how you do airbrushing and stuff like we're doing tonight. If you're doing graphic base airbrush overlays, coating a gas tank, coating a big area, that is mixed either 6-to-1 to 8 or 8-to-1. That means 6 part UVLS to 1 part, and that way you see how. So 6 part clear, 1 part candy, or 8 part clear, 1 part candy, and that's designed to be thicker, a heavier body, and you lay 3 or 4 coats down with a spray gun. That's what that's for. Barker, what's happening? Let's see, what else we got here? To make sure I'm not missing anyone. All right. Cool, everyone ready? All right, let's talk about what we got going on here. I am recording, because this would be really nice to kind of break down, because I got a couple different camera angles rocking here. All right, let me pull down the reference image. All right, so this is what we're working on. This is what the vector files look like. we're doing 2 different styles of 3-dimensional lettering. And when you do this, it doesn't have to be chrome. This can be anything. You can do it with fire. You can just make it look like beveled edge. And I'm not going, you know me guys, I don't go photorealistic type stuff. I'm going for like stylized cool, something that's gonna look good in a car. So we have this one here, which is a center bevel, okay? So the chamfer goes from the outer edges to the center. Okay, that's this style. This is what I did on the Malibu. So this is exactly how I did it. And we're gonna do a chamfered edge, which means the surface here, the raised, this is flat, and the edges are beveled. So it basically goes, if I had a pen. So this one, if this is the base, the lettering basically does this, okay? And so when the light comes down, the light hits this side, and this side is a shadow, okay? That's what this one is. This one here is really like this. So when the light source comes down, this is the light. The light also hits across this whole surface, and then this is the shadow side, okay? And then obviously there'll be some reflections and stuff like that in here. So that's what this type is, okay? So we're doing both of these types tonight. And this is a reference image that I found and worked up. So it kind of gives you, this is what I did, but when I did the car, I wasn't going for this photorealistic chrome. I went for custom paint, kind of cool, just kept it very simple and clean, not too crazy. We did some of this stuff, but again, we'll explore. And it was a quarter. This is huge. The one I did on the car was this big, or the Malibu. It was out by like this, so super small. So these are the styles we're going for. I'm not going to try to photo match it. There's guys that have it, like Drew Blair, I think, has beautiful chrome videos. There's a few others out there, for like realism. I'm not going for that. But we are going to do this style. And unfortunately, I have this flipped. The top one is going to be, the way I'm going to do this one, or maybe I'll do it the other way, but the top one will be the bevel, the bottom one will be this style here. Okay, so that's the reference. All right, so how do you, before we get, anyone got any questions, comments, concerns? Mike Wagner, need help on this one. My nickname at work is Chrome. I don't want to know, is that because you're good at polishing? No, sorry. That was mean. Scorpio, Gary, what's going on? Goes with what's happening. Hello. Adam, 1978, what's going on? Don't forget to do the likey, do the share, do all that fun stuff. Get some more people over here. Brian Moore, Scott, what is the proper way to mix candy? I think I may have it wrong. I usually just add reducer. Okay, Brian, are you just adding reducer to the candy itself? Because no, you can't just do that. Because the candy you buy from Createx, that's concentrate, okay? That has to go into a carrier. All candies do this. It doesn't matter. Solvent candies, like when I do House of Color or Ace of Shades or things like that, you get an 8-ounce bottle of carrier of candy concentrate. That's a concentrated formula. Okay, it's basically like dye. And that has to go into a carrier. So the carrier is a base coat clear typically, or a clear binder. In like House of Color, it's S200, which is a trans nebula. It used to be SG150, but it's not. For anyone using House of Color candy, I know we did this back in the early 2000s, and that's when most of our books and magazine articles came out. That we used to use SG100. SG100 is no longer, hasn't been for over a decade or more, 15 years probably. SG100 is not a proper carrier for candy anymore. SG100 is an intercoat clear, and candies really should not go in candy concentrates should not go in intercoat clear. Okay, candy concentrates go into like a base coat clear binder. Regardless, on the Candy 2.0, that concentrate goes into a carrier. I prefer the 4050, which is what's been out now. You can also use the 4030. That was the original carrier. Okay, the 4050 has UV protectants in it, where the 4030 didn't. And the 4030 had some issues as far as they would dry out if they sat once they were open for a while. So, that being said, what I do for mixing, and I've said it a million times, and I just said it a little while ago, for what I did tonight, when you're airbrushing shading, it's fine. It is okay to do a 1-to-1 mix. So, 1 part candy to 1 part 4050. If you need a little thinner, you can add 5 to 10% reducer from there. Okay, that's it. And if you're going to be spraying with a spray gun, like if you're covering a whole gas tank, that's where it's 6 to 1 or 8 to 1. 6 parts carrier, 1 part candy concentrate, or 8 parts to 1. You can go a little stronger, but that's typically, and then again, reduce 5 to 10% as needed. That's the reductions. That's how you mix them. There's tech sheets on it. We've done a million videos on it. That's how it works. Joe Walker, can you use SG1? No. Almost said it. Absolutely not. It was never good for flake, and it was never good for heavy pearls or dry pearls. SG100 was an intercoat clear. Way back in the 90s and early 2000s, you could get away with some mini flake work on top. Very mini, but not like coverage, like just a little top coat or to like flake a panel with like a little pearl. And you can mix candy with it back then. But it changed a long time ago for other reasons, you know, formulations, and I think around 2005, 2006, right around then. Even back SG100, they used to have a flake carrier called SG150. SG150 was the flake carrier. Now it's also good for carrying candies. Now it's S200, which is transnebuli. Okay, do not use SG100 for anything else but a intercoat clear. You do some artwork, you want to protect it, you put a coat or two of SG100, and that's all it's designed for. It's not designed to build, it's not designed to fill in scratches, it's not designed to minimize tape edges or edges like that. It is strictly to protect your artwork, so you can either give it a scuff or wipe it down and get your fingerprint oils and not mess up the nice, beautiful fades and artwork you've done. That's what it's for. Brian Moore, I just found UVLS gloss in my paints. Do I use that? The UVLS gloss, the SG1, I mean not SG, sorry, the 4050. This 4050 is the gloss. It should be the UV gloss, UVLS gloss. That's what you mix candies with. You do not mix it with, it's either that or the 4030. Okay? Adam 978. I'm going to send you a video, Brian. Okay, cool. Yeah, just completely ruined a stack of skulls. Really? How'd you ruin it? Did you just spray candy directly on it? I mean, for something in your house, something that's just, the candy concentrate by itself is going to work. But if you try to tape to it or pull it, or try to put anything on top of it, it's probably going to bleed like crazy. It's not going to bind well because there's no binder. It's just basically you just spray dye all over the whole thing. Cool. All right. Now, because I can edit all this out later, let's get. All right, we're going to do 3, 2, 1. All right, now it's time to get to the actual lettering, the actual project we're doing tonight. Let's get into it here. All right. So to make things easier tonight, I've already cut the vinyl, and I've weeded it. So you cut the vinyl onto your plotter, your Cricut, your Cameo, whatever. I'm using FBS Blue is the vinyl I'm using, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as I go through, but that's this stuff here, the FBS Blue mask. All right, I like the FBS Blue. It pulls super clean, it's super thin, and on gas tank stuff, it's super flexible, so that's why I like the blue. But I also use Avery Yellow or just General Formulations Yellow masking for bigger projects, so no problem. So I've already cut it, I've pulled out the lettering, and I've put transfer tape on it, okay? I have a black panel here. This is I have two, you'll see why. This is a polymetal panel, which means it is black aluminum, black coated aluminum with a PVC core or a polymetal, polyplastic core, and then aluminum on the other side. These are black, you give them a white. That's what I'm using tonight. This panel is 11 by 17, roughly. I think it's actually like 11 by 16 and a half or something like that. Regardless, 11 by 17 panel. Sanded with 600 and cleaned off and ready. So I got my vinyl here. I'm going to do this. Hold on here. We're going to get our tape. Let's get our tape here. Whoops, making noise. All right, so let's just do. We're going to line this up. I've done this a million times. Hinge technique. the way I prefer to do it. Let's just do it like this. No, usually the hinge technique goes all the way across. So let's just make it look official. Do I have my squeegee? Where's my squeegee? Shoot. We're always missing one little thing. Ah, there it is. It's right here. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so I'll answer those questions in just a sec. Let's get through this. All right, so hinge technique. I'm going to roll back the mask, get it off the backer, like this. That's how I always apply my vinyl so it doesn't shift. I give it a little tear and pull. Take my squeegee, put it on, drop my squeegee. Damn it. If I yell and scream right now, sorry about that. I pulled a muscle in my hip. Not my hip, my thigh. And it's been killing me for the past couple days. Oof, and today, I almost couldn't do this because I couldn't get up and down the stairs to my studio. But I managed. So I just got up here like 5 hours ago and stayed up here. Alright, so this side's down. I pulled the tape edge out. Now we're going to pull this side of the backer off. Actually, I'm just going to go like this. Pull from here. Make sure you're still clean. I can see I got a little ripple here. Not a big deal. That's masking. Doesn't matter. As long as all these edges are clear, it's all I'm worried about. Once this is down, then we're pulling the transfer tape off. And we got our masking ready to go. Now, because I'm on a dark surface like this is why I open it up. Because we're going to spray a fine metallic silver in here. Or you could do tones or blues, or you could streak different color tones. However you want to do your color, this is how you do it. Or if you've got a gold leaf, this is what you would do. You know, you could do your silver leaf or gold leaf, put your glue in here, spin, do whatever you want, and you'd be ready to go. Okay. But that's how you get the masking on the surface. And the file set does come with it set up like this, in this size and a size for a Cameo Cricut. All right, let me answer a few questions here. What do we got here? Someone asked, thanks Brian. Oh, okay, yeah. Bob Sylvie, what's going on? Chad Newman, is FBS going to have the 24-inch wide blue again? Or they don't? The answer is I don't know. I know they've been having distribution problems getting it from the manufacturer. They've been given the 12s and everything. So honestly, I don't have a full answer because I asked them myself, and they're trying to get it. They just had issues with some of the stuff that came in was like pulling. It was rolling up funny. The 24 blues always had an issue because the blue is so thin and it has so much elasticity that when they manufacture it, they have to, because it's the same blue that's on the 1/8 inch and 16th inch fine line tape. It's the same exact material. Just instead of being rolled onto itself, it's rolled onto a backer. And to roll it onto a backer, they have to roll it onto the backer. You know, that paper, you know, this material has to roll onto this. And because that stretching actually stretches it a little bit, they have to unroll it, let it relax for a little bit, and then re-roll it. So they have to do it twice. So there's always been some issues with making it perfect. So I just don't know if it's a timing issue or a manufacturing issue. I hope they bring it back. I do like the 24. I don't use the 24 a lot. I use the 12 mostly for everything. I actually think what they should do is do a 15. Because in the vinyl industry, most sizes come in a 15-inch or then a 24. Because 15 is really common. Because you can do almost all your lettering between it. let's see what else we got here. Not my camp. Oh, Johnny at the camp. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, it sucks there. Sorry about that. Hopefully you can watch it and catch it up later. And when you watch it, welcome back. Brian Barnes Scott, I'll trade you your pulled muscle for a dislocated rib. I don't know, man. I'd kind of rather a rib. At least you can walk around with the rib. I can't. There's times I can't put any weight on my leg without almost falling. I actually grabbed basically a cane this morning to walk around the house because it's my hip flexor muscle that goes all the way down, like, you know, from my hip to my knee, and it's really freaking painful. So, yeah, it's not fun. But I'm sitting now, so it'll be good. What else we got? Wish I became an auto paint guy when I was younger. Yeah, I don't think you do. Let's see. Yeah, 15 would. Yeah, Rob, 15 would be great. Maybe I'll talk to the guys because I helped them on the early days of development on that, and to get that all ready. And the 24 is just kind of a standard size. So, all right. So, what are you gonna do after this point? And I'm gonna pull a little cooking show magic on you. What you're gonna do is take your fine silver, your chrome paint, your white, maybe do a white, gray, white, halftone fade, whatever you want to do here. You're gonna mix that in your airbrush, and you're gonna spray, and you're gonna spray it back and forth, and you're gonna do everything, and then voila, it's gonna be silver. I cheated tonight. I cheated today. Because here's the thing, I'm in a recording studio with a lot of expensive equipment. I do not want to spray metallic silver in the studio, because if you ever sprayed flake like this, and this is Kratex Sealer silver, which I really like. It's a very fine silver, and this flake goes everywhere. Okay, you spray this stuff in your studio, you're going to come out like you just visited a gentleman's club, and it had some dances, and you're going to have glitter all over you. Including all your equipment and everything in the studio. So when you spray this stuff, good ventilation, good fans. I put like 3 coats down of the silver sealer on this, and then I want to let it cure and dry. That way, it's all good for masking and stuff like that. And this is exactly how I did it on the car. We masked it like this. We sprayed the silver. I let it sit for like 20 minutes because I was doing House of Color on that one. I let it sit for like 20 minutes, half an hour before I masked it. With Kratex, I do the same thing, at least a half an hour. And I didn't, like I said, I just didn't want to do it in the studio. So that's the only reason I did this. And you can check here. You're good on masking. Now, the only problem with most masking is it comes off the masking. Because the masking was designed not to let the paint stick to it too much. That's how it gets a clean edge. But it doesn't pull off in here. Okay? So no worries. Inside, that's where we want it. I love 613, but it makes a mess. Base my helmet. Okay. Oh yeah. The 6013. That's a silver sealer, right? Yeah. I'm horrible with the numbers. The silver sealer is still coming out. Thanks, Rob. I always read that. Get demonetized. Thanks. Yeah, it's tough to do it online. Learning curve, kicking my ass. Yeah, no, I get it, man. Are you going to nerd out on this episode? I've never tried. Oh, nice, Brian. Yeah, so, look, let me see if I can, this is going to be hard to kind of, that's why I usually don't do metallic on here, because, see, it's so hard to get the camera, see? Because if I do that, that's kind of alright. So we're going to have to go, yeah, it's going to have to go there, which is going to make it a little dark here. Let me just adjust my camera. Oh, the Burr Artworks, what's going on, man? What if I bring this one down? Does this, it's a lot brighter. How's that look? Too much? Too bright? Is that too bright? Yeah, maybe not. Like, it just looks black, but it's not. And then if I go to camera 2 here, Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe I can do like this. That's a little better. Just trying to figure out. This is, like I said, this is why I don't usually do metallics on video. This is the pain. Jammer James, what's going on, man? Welcome back. It's been a bit. Oh, by the way, cheers, everyone. A little Buffalo Trace here in a tin cup. All right, so you've laid your mask, you've sprayed your silver. Now what? There's a couple of things you can do here, and I do this quite often. The colors I'm using tonight, I have my white, my illustration white mix, you know, my custom mix. I got my black. I actually have my, this is the, shoot, I forget the name of the blue. Oh, basically it's the Wicked Blue, but I forget the name of it. Then I have two candies. I have a Caribbean Blue candy. Then I have a candy black. Okay, that's mostly what I'm going to use. But what you can do, before you mask, if you want, let me put some white in. So if you want, very carefully, you can like tone across just a little bit. See what I'm doing? I'm just kind of giving a little like reflective banding. Okay, that's it. Very little, but if I switch cameras, you can see it kind of changes the look. See what I mean? Like I said, it's very hard to do in the lighting. You can just do a little. For this one, I'm going to do this one like straight across the top. And maybe just a little bit like that. Okay. Minimal. What you could also do, same deal. You could take a black, and always use really transparents here. Like, don't use anything opaque. You want to use things that are really transparent because you don't want to kill that flake. White especially kills silver. So you could take the black the same way, and you could band a little bit in between. And just give it a little extra reflection, and maybe we go just half tone across the bottom. Okay, very little. So you can do that over the silver. Okay, you don't have to do it this way. You can, okay? It'll just give it a little bit. If you want to do like the reference image here, see how the, it has a little, now you can't even see it here because this light's too bright. Sorry. There's a little bit of, you can see it in the reference. See how it's got a little blue up in the corners? You could add that in, or you could add it in later. Doesn't really matter. But what I'm going to do is, because I mixed up my candy blue and my candy black, I'm going to actually mix the blue and black together a little bit. Because I don't want it to be, I want to kind of have a bluish tone to everything. Let me get this back up here. Let me try this light. This lighting's, let's see here. Let's see how this works. Maybe that works a little better. So instead of being like black candy black, I want it to have like a bluish tint. Let's see. Yeah, so if you look at it, basically, it's really hard to tell, but it's got kind of, I'm going to actually go a little bluer. So it's going to be more of a 2-to-1. So 2 part blue, 1 part black, because I can always add some darkness to it. Like I said, I pinned it to the comments. This file set's already available, and then, like I said, set up just like this. Cool. I'm glad you're doing Chrome tonight. I've been wanting to do it for a while. Yeah, and this is like stylized Chrome. It's not like, again, I'm trying to just have a little fun with it. Like, if you saw what I did in that Malibu, that's what we're doing tonight. Actually, I'll do it, because this has more room, I can actually get a little bit more creative with this one. All right, so the most difficult thing for most people is, what do you do now? And I get this all the time. How do you insert lettering? Like remask. Well, I'm doing it real simple tonight. And what I've done is, let me get all my stuff here. This is how I do most of it. Or I'll use a clear transfer tape to line it up and insert it. But guys, this is really the easiest way, is to just cut your set and trim it as close as you can. You know, you can do registration mark tricks, you can do everything, but if you just do this, especially on a flat panel, this is the easiest. It'll line up right inside, or close enough, because remember, we're a little offset. It's going to dock right inside the piece. Oops, sorry. And if you're on a curved surface, like a helmet, someone just said helmet, I didn't read the full comment. Then instead, I would use clear transfer tape. It's flexible, or, and notice it gets pricey, I'll use the FBS green mask. I'll use the green mask as the transfer tape so I can see through it, and it stretches the vinyl at the same exact rate. Okay, so I do that a lot. So just set it up, get it into play, like this. Okay. And then we got our bottom one. Alright, so I'm going to do this just like the sample. So this will be the center bevel, and this will be the double bevel. Okay. Alright. And in case I mess up, I have an extra. Okay. So I cut it, I transfer tape it, and then I trim it out like this. Okay. And then again, you find your squeeze and make sure. So you got any questions here? Blah, blah, blah. Working on the helmet. I just coated my helmet. Now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for art. Yeah, well, that's always tough. Cool. So double check everything. We should be good. Good. Awesome. All right, then standard. Once this is set, it's the same thing. It's hinge technique. Pull it away. Now, the clear vinyl allows you to see through it better when you're doing this. But I just have confidence that it's in there. And if I messed up, well, I could peel it off and do it again. But I think I'm going to be good. When you get to this stuff, you just got to make sure you kind of pull it into position a little bit. You can check it like right here. You can see. Oops. And move it and kind of stretch it into position. There we go. Basically, you're just doing an inlay, okay? And if you see, I'm pretty dead on. I mean, it's not perfect. There's a little gap, but we're going to be pulling this outer anyway. So as long as the inner is not like touching the outer wall, it's going to be right. And if you look at this file when I did it, I actually took the center image and I kind of bumped it up a little bit, so the bottom chamfer is bigger than the top chamfer. It just gives it a more like reflective tilt. I didn't want it to be equidistant around both top and bottom, so I kind of upshifted it. And so there you go. So that's inserted. You should try it. I make my own FX liquid. It's 12 bucks, super impacted. Own FX liquid. I don't know what FX liquid is. I'll have to read back. All right, so same thing. This is the center one. Pull it. Make sure we're good. Hold on to your butts. Whoops. Insert the lettering. Chrome lettering like this comes down to a lot of things. Like you can go really nuts making it hyper real, spend a lot of time, or you can make it really just kind of cartoony and simple. Oh, the crystal effect stuff. Oh yeah, I never do crystal effects. Sorry. I have a. It's not a. People like it. It's cool. I can't stand crystal effects because when it came out, I remember when it first came out because I'm old, and we did so much of it, and everyone wanted it, and I got so sick of doing it and looking at it in the process that I just never want to do it again. So if I get a call for it, I'm like, nope, not my thing. Nope. There's an art that I learned years ago. It's the art of saying no to things you don't want to do to make you a little bit more happy, and that was one of them. It was just nope. But no, a lot of people like it, and it's cool. I just don't do it. Even Marbleizer, man, I can't stand Marbleizer. I don't mind it as much, but okay. So now we have inserted our lettering inside. Got it? So this is going to be the single chamfer. This is the double. You know, I think we're going to bop this up just a little bit. All right. I'd rather do Marbleizer than crystal effects. At least I can play with Marbleizer more and make it do what I want to do. I bet you do gem effects on your minis. Never. Okay, so the other thing that we did tonight. That was weird. Oh, shoot, sorry. I just lost one of my TVs. Hold on. Input. Just hit the wrong input button. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Nope. Welcome to the feed, sir. Ah. Technical difficulties. There we go. Okay. All right. Hate technology sometimes. Anywho's. The other thing we did is this here. Okay. Which is the paper version. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys. I tapped the remote and it switched the HDMI inputs on my feed. You're not seeing it, but how I see what you're seeing just went down. So I just got to make sure that it looks good. All right, so this paper, I'm also going to use this for masking later, and I'll explain how I do that too, okay? So I always, whenever I plot, I do a paper version. They're exact same size. And I've gotten asked this question, how do I, every time people are like, oh, I print it and it's a different size. You got to make sure you don't have fit to page. On your printer, if you have fit to page or scaling, like to fit within, like, because when you have paper, a printer won't print to the very edge. So if your image is the size of the paper, it tries to fit it. So it shrinks it in just ever so much so it fits in the paper. You got to turn that off. And you just print it as is and don't let it change the size. And you'll have on this, because we're going to use this later. All right, so the first one we are going to do is basically the same one I did which is a center style chrome. I'm not going to get as fancy as this. We're going to keep it really simple. And when I mean really simple, what I did is I'm just pulling the bottoms of all this, okay? So you'll see I got the bottoms to pull. And I'm going to keep going as I go through. But I'm starting from here, and I'm working this way, and you'll see why. What I'm going to do, I got my candy mix, which is like a black, which is the blue and black candy mix. So see how it's kind of this nice bluish black tone? That's the tone I'm working with. You got to play with this. I can't show it exactly. I don't do formulations. You find what works for you. It's going to look different in person anyway, so I don't try to stress too much on it. And then what you want to do is you want to have a curved stencil like one of these. Or the Parker Graphics Pyro. What I do simply is this. Like where it comes up here, to give it this bevel chamfer, like here, I take this first, and I just hit it very lightly. See, that's why you can't see it. It's so hard. I wonder if you can see it. See, everyone wants me to do metallics until I do metallics. And this is the problem with doing metallics. I can't really see. You'll see the rest as I go through. So basically what I'm doing is I'm connecting this corner to this corner. Just like that. I'm hitting that lightly. And then I'm going to hit around here like with a nice even pass. I'm not going crazy. See how that worked? There we go. That's better. Okay. Gonna work on a panel here at home after the feed. Oh, very cool. Okay, so I did that. Now I come around. And I come around. And I'm not doing anything fancy. Now, if I want to get in here, you can get in and see these kind of little areas. And do little, like if you look at this stuff here, you can come in and do little hard reflections like this. You can freehand them in. But I'm really just trying to keep this very simple, okay? You can get as fancy as you want with all this little reflections and little things like that. But you don't need to pull the effect off that people really like, you don't need to get too crazy. So I went here, here, and I stopped here. And see when I pull, now you see that this looks like it's pointing up at you. Now I just hit it like that, and just boom, boom. And I'm working my way back. Just like when I do those teeth on skulls, same thing. Now I'm doing it again. I'm on the next one. Oh, good. You can see it better now. So, Zazu 69. Typically when I do these metal effects, like when I did all these, I did these on a gray panel because they work really well. It shows the dark and the light. And that's how I typically do it, and it reads really well. But everyone's like, oh, I want to see it on silver, because it would look really cool with silver. And it does look really cool with silver. Okay? But the problem with silver on camera is it does this. So I'm making some people happy and some people not. If you did it on a white panel, you wouldn't even... If you would do it on a white panel, you wouldn't even have to base coat it silver. You could just use a white panel. So maybe I'll do something in the future, but yeah. Okay. So same thing here. I'm going to come around. And if I want, like I said, I could take these and I can add a little extra dark to it. You could find a little curve that works, like that reflection here. Like it's got a little See what I mean? You can just affect it. I'm not trying for photorealism here. It's really about working through it. And then working like this again. This is how I do the center bevel style. And it's really just looking at kind of a reference and figuring out what you like. I'm coming up and shading. Now I'm going to take this curve. I'm going to connect from this point to this point. I didn't want to do every little vinyl cut because it just gets too much. Look, just that little bit of curve. That little bit adds to it. Remember, anyone looking at the end result of this doesn't have the original. They're not going to have this image to say, oh, you missed that reflection, you missed that reflection. This is stylized. This is just to make it look cool. Now I'm going to come down the end. Yeah, and here's the thing too, is look at the angle difference. What looks good at this angle has a different lighting from this angle. If I turn this light on, it looks cool for a second, then it flashes out. So, you know, when you do live feeds like this and you do video production, you have a total appreciation for guys who like run multiple camera angles and stuff, because there's so much to it. No, metallics never look good on camera, but everyone wanted to see what it looks like on a camera, so I'm doing it. Go here to here. The process doesn't change. Now I'm going here. I'm going here. Now this one's just going all the way back to the H. Nice and simple. Again, I'm just shading simply. And again, I could go in and you could add some little reflections. Things like this. I could come up here. I'm going to make sure this one kind of chamfers up to this one. Now I know my friends in Europe, when I taught, they really love like photorealism. A lot of people don't like to stray from it, but not my thing. Same thing. So here we can kind of, now when I go from this hard edge to a rounded, I go hard here, and I don't let it go all the way to the top. Same thing with this one, hard to the bottom. Just a little bit of shading. Okay, just a little bit. And we're just kissing over the whole thing, because this is all bottom. The nice thing about this style is because it's center bevel, it's for the most part has all bottom. When we get to the H, which I'm about to get to, that's where it tweaks a little bit. The O does the same thing, and we're going to show you how to deal with that. Again, we have a bottom angle here. Okay, these have it, and that's why I stop. This has it here, and this has it here. And you go from there. Now I'm going to come up. At least this isn't putting a vinyl sticker on a bike tank and clearing over it. Sorry. Not that anyone would do that for real, for a customer. All right, so here, C, I'm going from that point to this point here. Just kind of accentuating that bevel a little bit. Now I'm coming along. This is where it gets a little tricky. This is where it gets a little tricky. Because when you come around this, in all these other videos, we've talked about top-down light source, right? Coming down like this. All right, so here, the light's hitting this side, so this side's going to be shadow, but right here is where it starts to change. So I don't want to bring the airbrushing too much past here. Okay, I come around a little bit, but even if you look at the reference image, see how here, this is where the kind of reflection switches? I've seen it done. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the clearing over cherry blossom stickers. Yeah, you know what happens with those when about 6 months in the sun? They look really... Oof. All right, so what I like to do with this, give it a little style. I'm going to take my stencil like here, right where I know the light starts hitting it, starts to go back into shadow. I'm taking this curve, and I'm just going to hit down from here like that. I can come up a little bit and then come around. Okay. Oh, have a good night, Steven. Yeah, clearing over stickers, man. It's just like, look, you can do it. And there's ways to get around, get away with it. But no matter what, it's cheesy. And the other problem with it is there can be real problems down the road with a lot of that stuff. Okay, so that takes care of the whole bottom edge. The only one I'm going to do is, because of the way the E's work, I got to come back into this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to pull this off. But I'm only pulling around, and I'm just going to hit... Sorry about that, guys. Just stick that down here. I'm just going to hit here, like this. And I'm going to come around, same thing. I'm going to stop before it gets to the top. And just leave it like that. Okay? All right, so now we're good here. Now she's going to work the top. So I'm going from here, I'm going to go back. I did this, I did this. I'm going to make sure I hit here pretty good. Now I'm going to pull that. So this is where you start seeing the delineation difference. You don't need much here because you already have it. And we're going to add some white highlighting here. I'm going to show you how we do that later. You can add a little bit of like reflections if you want, but it's not really needed. It's just a matter of doing that. I'm going to come around like this, and I'm going to pull this off. So this is where it gets a little squirrely because you got to kind of have both. So that's why I save this, and I'm going to put this right back into play. Like here, like this, see? I just rolled that back in because I didn't pull it all the way off. And I probably should have left that, but I could just take a loose stencil here like this. Basically, I'm connecting from this point to here. And now I'm just going to come up. And I'm going to come around because this is still the dark side. This is the bottom. The light's coming down. And it's hitting this side, and the opposite side is bright, and then when it gets through here, it's bright again, then dark, okay? Letters like this, where it gets a little tricky. The more you do it, you start to understand. But now you see how it has that kind of... You see that this center bevel looks good. Is it photorealistic? No. But we're going to add more as we go. It looks a little graphic-y. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. And then you can come around. Same thing. And just stop. That's why I did the mask like this. I can come down like here. Now here, really, you don't really do much at all. I don't do much here at all. We're just going to put some shading. And I leave this. And I'm pulling that like this, okay? Now I'm going to come down off that edge. And I'm going to come off this edge just a little bit. And when I look from here to here, I probably could have hit just a little darker on this side. You got to adjust it as you go. It's just so you get the difference. And a lot of this still looks wonky until you unmask it. And when you unmask it is where it really looks good. Okay, so we're going to here. All right, so now I'm going to play with this one. I can do this. Okay. This center, I don't want to pull... Oh, no, I can actually. I pull the whole thing? Yeah, I think I can pull the whole thing. Yeah. So I fold the whole thing, lights coming down, lights hitting here, that's fine. I just got to shadow shade this side. Like that. That's all I got to do. It's going to come around. And I can pull this off. I can go right in like this. Right in here like this. Like that. Like, see, it's already starting to come together. It's got some little bit of shading. We haven't done too much here. This is where I start doing a lot of like loose stuff. Like, see, loose reflections like this. We can make this shadow down a little bit. You can kind of see what you got going here and just kind of come up a little bit. Just give it a little something. It's not photorealistic. I'm not trying for that. I'm just trying to make something that kind of tricks someone's eyes. Someone has this on the side of the car, like the Malibu I just did. And they go, oh my God, I thought that was a symbol. I thought that was painted. I mean, I thought that was metal, and it's not. It's painted. It's under clear, looks cool. Yeah, it's a very basic effect. You can expand on this. This could be a 20-minute lesson or 4-hour lesson, depending what you want to do with it. Like I said, you can put all these reflections in and really play around with these, and I can come in and see, oh, this side is really dark right here, so let's add a little of this. You know what I mean? So we can do that. We're going to do that, but don't rush it. Just get the overall, and then you got to kind of match it. When you do something like this in a similar letter type, you got to kind of do it again. And I know my photo purist guys are like, oh, but you should have a full photo reference. Well, you're not always going to have this. I mean, unless you use AI and stuff and do it and you'll have something. But, you know, you're not going to have the actual, like, version to copy. Okay, so now we got that. We got that. We'll come down like here. And now here we go. So this is where I have to be careful. All right, this is where it gets tricky. So, light source down. I'm going to pop this off, but not all the way. So watch what I'm going to do. So where it kind of comes around. Because the light's hitting the top of the C. But it's darker on this side. And I just kind of stop right there like this. Very little bit. It doesn't look like I did much on camera. And then you kind of set this back into place. And if you weren't this careful, it's fine. And now I can pull this one off like that. And what I'm going to do, see where it misses? I can just kind of connect that back up. So now what I do is I come up this side. This is going to be the dark side. And then it starts getting light right here because the light hits it again. See where the light hits? And I can kind of come up like here, like this. I can hit that. Light does hit there a little bit more, so I can make it darker towards this side. And then I can pull that off like this. We can kind of blend this out a little bit. Oops. Should have. Oops, that's not the right one either. Well, I messed that one up. No stress. Now I'm going to come back. I'm just going to marry this together like that. So you can already see that already looks kind of cool. You can kind of see it's got dimensional. You can come in and put some little reflections. Come in here. I'm sticking with this color. Okay. And if you pull this off, it's going to look decent. But if you want to make it look a little better, we got our white here. I'm going to make sure my whites, this is pretty transparent. I'm going to make it even more transparent. I'm going to add a little extra UV LS or some binder clear. Danny's back. Hey, Danny. Danny is back. Back again. And then once we're done with this one, I'll bump into this one. I was going to do both at the same time, but I figured it was going to get really confusing for everyone. So I figure I'll break it down into two parts. Okay, now, how do you get white in here without messing this up? Very simple. You have your paper, right? This is why I did the paper cut the same exact size, which I'm using actually this one here. So what I do with that, and again, I'm pulling the old trick. Take your paper and cut it so it all fits. See how everything fits? Ta-da! So it all fits inside. And if it's not perfect, oh, it's not perfect. I messed up a little bit. So look, I can't stick it. See, it went off track. But it's enough where I can come in and I can hit bright white on this side here. This side here. I can come underneath. I can hit a little bit there like that. Michael Cullen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So I come in here, then I can slide it around. We'll give another bright white reflection here. We'll give another little one right here like this. Hit these bottoms like that, let them get brighter. Okay, see how that starts to give it a little bit more life? Same thing, just work it around. There's where the C is going to be the big one. You're going to get that to look really good. And it doesn't look as much here because the camera lighting. And then what I like to do is I like to kind of blow it out a little bit and fuzz it. Like that. And then it's really just a matter of adding what you want to see. So what I'm going to do, just so you can really appreciate what's happened here, and actually before I do that, let's take some black candy by itself, and I'm going to add just a couple little dark areas. Like some extra little dark reflections here. Like basically wherever I want those heavy reflections, like it's got some of this heavy. See these dark, but again, I'm not copying everything. I'm just using it as style cues. You could take a little stencil. You can come off the edge. You can come off the edge. We can take this one. You know, just little extra things. Little extra style cues on those reflections. So you mean just paying attention to all those top-down light sources. That's all this is. You can even, if you look at some of these, If you look at the H, you can see it's really heavy right here. So you can make that a little heavier. You can remask it or use a loose mask if you need to. A little extra. Oh, and there's a little, I never took this end off here. See that? That would be that same bottom color. Just shade it. Little extra details. See, just little kind of just reflections and wiggles, and you don't have to follow a photo. Use the photo for styling cues and just have some fun with it. And then, just so you can see how that looks, this is the other thing. People look at this like, oh my god, it looks really messy. And it does. It looks really, 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 really messy right now. I want to make it look clean on video, so let's measure up. We're gonna go take my ruler here. I love my rulers. Let's do 5.5, 5.5, and we're just gonna slice this, and I'm gonna pull the bottom off and do a nice reveal. Okay, and this is where you see how nice the FBS glue mask is, because you can get a really nice clean pull. I'm going to pull my inners. Actually, I'm going to wait on those. Hold on a second. So let's see how this style looks. This is the center bevel. And see if it starts to jump out at you. Or I messed it up and it doesn't look good. But I don't think so. Now, if I had sprayed this white and gray without a metallic, I think it'd actually look better. But I wanted to get a metallic in there so you guys could see it. People like sparkles. But if you just did a gray, like this, that looks cool. That does look cool. And then what I would do, if this was a customer vehicle, I would take this, I would take my white, I would find a spot, and I would just hit it with a dot, then give it a gleam. I'm gonna find another spot here. A little gleam. And maybe, what do we want? Let's do it like right up here. Just a little gleam like that. And you could have a couple little ones. Now let's show you what it looks like at different angles. See when you go up like that? Oh, there's another one here. I forgot that mask. See how that white, this is the thing about metallic. See how white it shifts to here? And if I take this, and we can blow this out a little bit so it looks like a reflection. So watch what happens. I'm going to find this curve that kind of works. We'll let it glow off. So see how much better that looks? But when you're on metallics, the problem is different angles, it does this. Like it goes away, but it comes back. But to customers, when they walk around their car, that starts to actually really play well to them. Because they're like, oh my God, oh, it looks so real. See what I mean? Maybe I can hit a little bit here. Fuzz it just a little bit so it glows. A little bit here like this. You can kind of blow this out a little bit. You can even go hot spots inside. And let it get that extra cool reflection. Like that. What do you guys think? Think that works? It's a really cool way to do it. You'll get some different styles. Let me see if how it looks from different angles. You know, that on the side of a car just looks great. People really dig it. Different light reflections gives it different looks. Now, if you did it on a gray or white panel and changed the tones, it wouldn't have the same flicker, but it would actually look more real, like it does, like photo on paper. But there is something to be said for like metallic reflections and things like that. So it looks really, really cool. It's fun. And that's how you do a center reflection. We're getting to this top one right now. This one's going to be the same, but a little different. Let's take this out. Everyone like that? Everyone good? Because what I'm going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the bottom. All right, so this is a center style one. This is going to be the inner outer bevel. Okay, so meaning it's the flat top like this, and then the sides are chamfered. Okay, so basically it's when you do in vector work, when you design this, I design my outer, I vector all this, and then I just do an inline trace, like an inline cut. So I go from here and I do an offset path, so I offset it inside. Okay, and then what I do is I take the whole thing and I bump it up like two dits. So that way it's a little bit bigger down here, a little tighter at the top. Okay. And you don't have to detail around it. No, like you don't have to do a lot around it, especially on dark. If this was on a white panel or a silver car or a light blue, I would drop shadow this, okay? And I would just freehand drop shadow it. Or if you wanted to be more graphic type, you would take the same file, like this, and you would basically do another outer trace and offset it and then do a drop shadow. But that's a whole different thing. Can this be done without metallic? Absolutely. You just don't do it on... instead of doing the metallic, you would just do a gray or a more chrome or a light, darker gray and go from there. I could have done this on a white panel. I did think about doing this one on a black and then this one on a white panel. But again, I can't cover every base. There's a million ways to do everything. So I just kind of have to pick and choose how you handle it. And I really wanted to do some how you base... Because if I was on a white panel and I used the white, I wouldn't have to do... I would just go with the insert, like right off the bat and pick and pull. I wouldn't have to do that first step where I silvered it. Yeah, there's a million ways to do it. Mr. Barker, have a great night, man. Great seeing you. All right, so this top one. This is the easiest one because what I do here is I just pull this whole thing like this. like that, okay? And this is where you start thinking about all the stuff I've talked about before about light sources. Okay, light source is still coming down. It's still coming down. It's still coming down. Okay, so this is the flat surface. If this is the bevel side, this whole side is catching light. And then, so that catches light, and it goes across here, then this side's the shadow. Then when it gets to here, it starts to get light again, and then it goes through, and then it gets shadow. And it keeps doing that all the way through. Okay? That is the same way when I did this. So if you go back to my other tutorials that you guys did, if you go back to this tutorial, what we're about to do is this. This is hard edge, this would be soft edge. But it all plays off this method. Light hits, then it goes flat, and then it gets dark. And then it comes down, light hits again, goes flat, then it gets dark. Same thing. That's all we're doing here. We did it here as well. Okay? Light's coming in, hits it, goes flat, and then starts to shadow again. Light hits, flat, and then shadow again. That's the opposite. That's an indent. But here we did the same thing again. Light hits, flat, shadow. Light hits, flat, shadow. Light hits, flat, shadow. This is what we're doing. That's all this is in this whole thing. So go back to your fundamentals. Think about what it is. I'm going to go back to my dark. And this is where I'm just going to shade. So look, I'm going to shade this bottom like this. I know it's starting to hit there, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. It's mostly dark down here. So I'm just going to kiss it a little bit. And it's going to come around and start hitting light again. But now on this side hits shadow. And it comes around and starts getting light again, and then this side hits shadow. I know it's really, if you're doing it for the first time, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. As you start to see it, it's one of those, it starts to really come together. So this side, like I said, this side's light, 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 and then it's dark under here. Oh, but there's, hold on. Before I do that, there is a center to this one that I forgot about. And there's a center for this one. Like that. I didn't pull those out. So, lights hitting, lights hitting, lights hitting. Now it's coming up to the dark side of the letter. Now it's coming around the top. Now light's hitting again. But on the inside of the E, it's hitting. Okay? Now what I do with these, I'll wait. Light, 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 light. Little dark here. We can have a little reflection. It's coming around a little dark here. Not much. A little dark here. Because the light's coming down, see? So just a little bit of shadow casting, then hitting light, 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 but shadow on the inside. And shadow under there. Light, 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 shadow. It's just pivoting off there, coming up, the light starting to hit it. A little bit in the side. That's all light, that's all light. This is a shadow. Then it goes to light. This side's the shadow over here. This side's the shadow over here. Is that making sense, or is it really just confusing? I'd like to know if the way I'm explaining it's cutting through. Because this bottom of the letter is getting shadow. This top of the letter, this side's getting light, this side's getting shadow. And it's coming around. Shadow, shadow, shadow. Heavy shadow. Now what I like to do And if you're worried about candy bleed, you can do this with the black. Because what I'm going to do is take the black, and well, I'm going to mist this whole thing. Very light. There's a reason why I'm doing it. So that way when I start to pull mask it, there's something everywhere. But now on the white side. Good stuff. James, good, thanks. Everyone's tired of working so much. Okay, now I'm taking the white. I'm going to hit... I'm going to see how this shows up on camera. Might have to readjust. Yeah, okay, so you can see. So now see how the light's hitting that. Now as it comes around here, it doesn't hit anything. Dark, 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 but on the inside of the E, depending on your freehand skills, if you need to remask, remask. I'm not. And I'm coming around here. And I'm hitting that top. Like that. Come around, hits there, doesn't hit here. This is the top. This is the top. Dark. And just following around. See? Dark. So light, dark, light, dark. And that's going to help create that illusion of depth. This side actually is catching a little light up in here. Right here, and then a shadow. And when you use white over silver, like I would do this in gray, or like do a light bluish gray base tone instead of metallic. You get a much realistic look, but I wanted to do a metallic just so it's a little flashier. And I've been asked to do metallic so many times on the camera that I figured I'd give it a shot. And I knew it was going to be an issue, but did it anyway. Now the cool thing about the metallic, it doesn't look as great on camera. But when I clear this and do a walk by, all the sparkle, it's just going to look cool. So that's white there. This is white here. Okay, because see the light's coming down, it's catching that inner part of the E, I mean the C. Then around the top, it's reflecting here. Like that, and it catches here. Like that. This side, there's not enough here. That needs to white. That needs a little white. That's white. That's white. That's white. That's white. I want to actually... What made me want to share my knowledge? That's a great question, man. Thank you for that. You know, when I got into airbrushing in 89, 90, there was no classes. There was very little instruction. Even magazines were more about like hyper illustration and hyper realism than custom. So I did a lot of my own, and I always felt that it's like, man, it should be easier. You know, art schools don't teach it, high schools don't teach it, college art doesn't teach it, airbrushing at the time. And I'm going to divert for a quick second. When I was in high school, one of my art teachers out of the three wasn't really into airbrushing. Basically, not in so many words, I'm paraphrasing, said it was a dying art. It's an illustrator's tool. It's not an art form. It's not an artistic medium. It's just a tool. And they never really covered it. But whenever they needed to use it, I was the one that actually showed the teachers. And it always bothered me. So as I started getting into it and realized there wasn't a lot out there, and there was some stuff on forums, just airbrush.com days, even before that. I just wanted to help people get over it. And one of the guys at the malls who helped me, my friend Tim Santoro, he was an airbrush artist at the malls by me doing t-shirts in the 80s. So I learned a lot from him, aside from books and what I could find from fine art illustration. He taught me the t-shirt side of it. And then I met some car guys that I saw, like the car illustration. And I just want to kind of pass that along. So I started teaching classes in 2004. I think it was 2003, 2004 when I started teaching classes at Bay Area. And I just really enjoyed it. And I just remember that teacher saying, that it's an antiquated tool. It's an illustrator's tool. It's not an art form. You're not going to make any money or a career out of it. And it bothered me. So I decided to change that. That's how I looked at it. And we did the magazines, and we did the articles and DVDs and things like that. So, yeah, thanks for that question, man. I appreciate it. That's kind of why I started doing it. And I would get frustrated where I see people learning that had so many problems. And the other problem was, in my day, and there's still guys that do it, where they would the get off my lawn artists or customizers. That they knew you were a painter. If you walked into their shop, they're like, get out, I'm not teaching you nothing. These are my secrets. It's not a freaking secret, man. Like, I've never taught someone else's process and technique. Like, when I teach realistic fire, it's the way I do realistic fire, and I give tribute to Mike LaValle, how he originally did it, and I learned from him and how he did it, but I'm never going to teach his method of how he taught it the way he taught it, because it's his lesson to teach. I'll teach my version, which is my way of doing it, mixed with his and other things. I'll teach that, but I don't copy other people's lessons plan. So yeah, it's, I just try to pass on my knowledge, and I hate seeing people frustrated. And I see it online a lot, there's a lot of bad information out there by people that have good meaning too. I've been seeing a lot lately online forums that people putting out misinformation or accusing others of misinformation, where they're just trying to put information that, that's not as nuanced, and people are like, oh, that's not exactly the way you do it. It's frustrating. So I try to clear the air as much as possible so people can just really learn good stuff. You're going to spend $70, $80 on a VHS tape. Reaction, learn anything, but again, that's fine. You should spend $70 to $80. You should spend $500. You should absolutely spend $500 on a rendezvous, $1,000 on a rendezvous, 1,000 times %. Because if I had that in the '80s, I would have been twice as where I am today. Yeah, it really. All those things. I have so many DVDs. Like, dude, I'll reach in and grab a few. Where are they? Here's just a handful that I learned from. Mike Learns Fusion. Airbrush Action. That's Corel Draw. Another Mike Learn. True Fire from LaValle. I would pay $500 per these. You know how much money these have made me over the years? Worth every penny. And the only reason you're getting these videos from me is there's enough in it for me to spend a few hours to do this. And not like I'm making money at it, but all right, we can edit this back in. All right, so I'm just gonna tape this off so there's some separation. Let's give this we'll give this like a metallic look. Okay, so again, I'm going in, I'm just kind of fielding where I think hard reflection should be, where the heavy white would be hitting, in here, in here. So I don't want to unmask until I have everything. There should be some white here. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of catching where things are. You want to pop up, you're more than welcome. But I'm not copying them. No piracy. Bright white reflection here. Little here. Dude, I got old Uric VHS tapes. I got my John Kosmowski How to Paint Flames. I got all that shit. Light here, light here, light there. Just want some cool skull stencils. I can't find cool ones. There's so many. You got mine. There's a whole bunch of other ones. I got one set that I'm planning on coming out with. But right now I like them in paper more than Mylar. And it's just a matter of if I want to produce them or not. Let me see if I can... Do I have a pic? I might have a pic of these. So I'm going to show you this real quick. I have these that I've been working on. All different angles, all different styles. All different details. So I am working on some. But you can also just work from photos. Anyway. There's some cool ones out there. Alright, now I'm going to take my black here in the really dark recesses on the this is the black candy. I'm going to hit the super dark areas here. Like basically where it's kicking down. I mean, you know, the other thing about stencils and videos, and, you know, I'm going to be really frank. The reason why you don't see a lot of us making crazy amounts of them anymore, really putting the time in, as soon as we make it, someone copies them, steals them, and we don't sell any. You know, not to be an ass, but, you know, if I'm going to spend weeks developing something and R&D'ing it, I want to make some money on it before someone steals it. And the problem is someone steals it, copies it, trades it with their friend before I even made my time back. And I've been accused, oh, you're greedy, you just want to get all this money. It's like, dude, I just want to get paid a little bit for my time. Sorry. Yeah, no, his is cool too. His school set, yeah. The Pack of Skulls, yeah, mine. Frazier's got a great one. Roy Beck, there, Cave Lane, yep. That's cool. So like I said, now I'm just hitting the darks with this black candy. Looking at my reference a little bit, finding some key areas. This is where if you're too heavy-handed, and Brian, we've talked about this, you want to mix this stuff pretty thin so you don't cover that silver especially. All these little corners get a lot of little darkness and details. Going to be a little bit here on these tops. A little bit here. A little bit there. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. You know, just I think a lot of guys don't understand the amount of hours that goes in. Like, how many guys saw, like, when I posted earlier that I'm cleaning up for the live feed? Who saw that post earlier today? And if you look at that photo that I posted, that was well after I already started with other stuff. But when I said I was cleaning up the bench and getting ready for tonight, that pic was from 2:42 this afternoon. So 2:42. So that was 7 hours ago. I was cleaning the bench, setting up for this feed, and I'd already did more stuff. So this 2-hour feed is an 8-hour day, minimum. Minimum for all the stuff that goes into it. So that's why, like, super chats, I really appreciate them. They're valuable. People buying downloads is valuable. People rewatching and sharing this down the road is valuable. Because I'll probably have 8 to 12 hours into this 2-hour free live feed. So, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing it. And it's not about making, like, my normal rate. But it just helps people understand. Yeah, the black candy's fun, man. I use it quite a bit, especially in stuff like this. So this is, I'm using black candy right now. That's what this is. And the blue was blue mixed with black candy. Okay, so now that's the whole inner. I haven't done any, that's all the outer trim. I haven't done anything with the rest. Now, do that. So now I can pull the inner. Oops, right here. I forgot about this end. So we're gonna go right here. There we go. You're welcome, Thomas. And now I'm going to pull this. And without doing any, the nice thing about the silver, the metallic, is at this point, graphically, I could leave this without doing anything. And it already looks really three-dimensional. Todd Keith, thank you very much. Ray Shea, thank you so much, guys. That really appreciate it. You know, helps these. It does. Every little bit helps, man. You know, like with this video between super chats, say it's like $50 to $50. If a couple thousand people watch this over the next month, it might be another $10, $20. You know, I could have made more saying "Welcome to Walmart." And it's not about the money. It's not about the money, and I'm not saying it for that reason. You know, and I hope you guys don't take it that way. It's you know, the guys who put their work into how-tos and videos and things like that, just appreciate the amount of work that goes into it. And if they don't get everything 100% right, or they misspeak a little bit, or they don't get your nuanced way of it, just give them a little grace. You know. We argued who was going to do the deed. Oh my God, Todd, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so I can leave it like this and client would be happy. But if you look here, let's give it a little bit of style here, maybe a little bit here on the bottom. See what I mean? Just little bits, like this. See what I mean? Just those little bits like that. Just all it takes, really. You don't have to spend hours here. You can just a couple little things. That's all it really takes. just to give it a little extra reflection. Brian Moore, thank you, Brian. Really, really appreciate it. Give you a big hand clap. You know, now I can take these. I can come up with a white from there. See how that little bit? Watch. See this one to here? Boom. Just nice little additions. Little things. Thanks, Roy. Appreciate it, man. Just watch. The more you watch them, the more people share them. It just really, it really helps us out in the long run. And realistically, like I said, I'm not trying to be. I'm not the photorealism, perfect chrome. I look for more like, hey, that looks cool, stylized. This is how we make it quick. It looks fun. People like it, enjoy it. You can make some good money at it, you know. But I don't want to spend a million hours on it either, because you're not going to get paid for it half the time. But if you are, good for you. You know, like I went and did that Malibu. I won't give you the full price, but I went and did that Malibu. I was there at 9 a.m. I left by 2. I did both letterings and the pinstriping. But there was 2 days of a day of work of setting up the vinyl, getting all the materials ready, getting everything in. So it's a full day's worth of work. You know, and I charge a day rate, and everyone's happy, and we go from there. What I'm going to do, just to make this a little cooler, I'm going to take my blue here, and I'm going to just shade some bright blue at the top like this. Very little. Okay, just that candy blue. Just to give it something. All right. Will that black candy fade into the black background? If I spray this black candy on this, it'll never show up. You'll see it here because it's a different tone. When you clear it, it's gone. You won't see it whatsoever. All right. Who's ready for a big reveal? Let's see what we got. I want to pull the bottom. Leave that. On the top. Oh, this is going to go down. That's easier. Ta-da! Trumpets. I don't have a trumpet noise, damn it. I tried the Black Widow. Black Widow looks much easier than it is, doesn't it? There's a lot to it. But dude, I'm telling you, you do it a couple times, you'll just get it. It'll look awesome. There we go. Pull that out. Pull that out. Bam. Same font. 2 different styles. So you know if I move it, it'll show up 2 different ways. Like, look at that right there. Super cool. And again, the FBS blue mask gives a nice clean edge. Better than other crap masks that's out there. Especially, don't buy Amazon crap mask. Half that stuff is going to give you so many problems. Let's do some gleams. A little bit of white dot here. Be very sparing on this. Hey, come on. Subtle. Don't do a lot of these. A little there. That little one inside there. Little one here. We can do a little reflection on this bottom. And just for the heck of it, let's do this. This is old school. Old school way of doing a lens flare. I'm gonna go boom. Go here. Just about touch. Almost touch. Okay, super easy. Boom. Boom. And hit that thing like that. Boom. Look at that. We'll give a couple little extra gleams. Beep, beep, beep. I wonder if it'll look bad. Hold on. Where's my fucking guy? Look at that. Oh, I like that. Should we do one more? Or should I do one? Should I make this one gleam like that or leave it? Let's do one more. Let's do one down here at the bottom. A little smaller. Keep it straight. Little camera lens flare action. For you guys who have studios that are trying to pick up clients, or if you're going to motorcycle shows, having a panel like this on your booth with a nice, clean, you don't have to write the word chrome. You know, you could do this with a Harley logo, you can do it with anything. You have this at your booth. It draws people in. They're like, oh my God, that's cool. You know? Do one with metallic, do one without. You know, so you can see depending, that's why metallic is kind of cool, because you do get this reflection. It looks kind of flat there, man. It looks okay. But man, when the light hits it just right, you start getting all these really cool looks. You know, see when I get the light on how bright that looks? And if I switch cameras, see what I mean? It's a really cool project. Doing this, when I first started understanding three-dimensionality and how to make things look like they popped, it was doing lettering and flames and tribals. So realistically, like I said, go back through my videos, start to understand this and this and this and how this worked. Okay? Understand all this and start with this and understand how top-down and light sourcing works. And then you get more complex and you start getting into that. Okay? It is training, but this is fundamentals. This is basic, man. Oh, hit it with, yeah, I can hit it with wax and grease. Give me a sec. Let me see. So Prep All Wax and Grease, House Color KC10. I think it's Finish Line, or Finish One, the Napa stuff, the FT 200. Don't use 2000. That's Stripper. I did that. And then, yeah. So if we put some wax and grease on it so it looks cleared, you can see how much better even that looks. Like that. And let me see if I can get it to show. See what I mean? It just really works. It looks really cool. I hope this is a project a lot of you guys practice and try out. Because once you learn this one, you don't have to, I'd appreciate the download. It's cheap. And follow along with this just so you get all the parameters. But once you do this, then it's just going into your design program like Illustrator or FlexiSign or Cameo or Cricut, and you do a letter, and then with this you do an inner and an offset. The outer path is here, and then what you do is you do what's called an offset path. Now offset usually goes the outside, but you just do a negative. So if you want this, this is the font. Which this wasn't a font, I drew it. But if this was a font, you just select it and go offset path negative, 0.125, eighth of an inch, and it does this. The inner center ones, this you have to draw manually. The computers don't do this. Okay, you can't just hit click center spline. I basically take my vector pen tool and I redraw the center manually, and then I do all these chamfers. So this takes a little bit. You have to really learn your computer program to be able to do this one, because you're not going to find it online, and there's no shortcut command to make it happen. Okay, so this is the same font. It's exactly the same font up and down. Just one's a double inner and one's a center. So for center, you need to learn how to vector draw yourself. I have to paint chrome molding. Dude, the chrome molding, same technique. 1000%, Mike. I've done it a million times. It's great. And it's just a matter of mix up depending on the car. Like this was a blue car I did, so I used a blue. If I was on a maroon car, I'd probably take a maroonish candy and mix it with black, and that would be my shadow, and then a black candy for the darks, and then I would use white for the highlights. And it works. It really, really does a nice job. So, but yeah, but just look at that for 2 hours. This lesson is going to teach you a lot. Definitely worth the download. Follow this along. I got to edit this down. I did record everything. So I think this would be a really good live feed for everyone, to kind of follow along a few times with and go from there. The physics of reflection. Yeah, no, man. It's understanding how reflections work really helps. And I learned it by messing around in Photoshop years ago, is what really taught me. But like having to do this and then this little down and this, it's just it starts to become second nature. And again, is it photorealistic? Not at all. Does it look cool? Yes. If it's wide molding, you just need more reflections, brother. So, and that's it, guys. Hope you guys liked it. I was going to do a 1 hour feed, trying to knock this out fast, but it worked out really good. I hope everyone enjoyed this process in this feed. Share it, like it, comment on it. Give me suggestions for more feeds. If you guys go in and put suggestions on my feeds for future feeds, that helps me a lot. The more interactions helps this channel grow. With that being said, I want to thank all my not my super chats. I do want to thank everyone who gave me super chats tonight. Awesome. It means a lot to me, guys. Thank you so much. And all my Down Dirty Tricksters, thank you so much. So all you Down Dirty Tricksters, if you download this, you get it for like 11 and a quarter. It's $11. It's 15 if you're not a member. It's 25 if you are a member. Members only $2.99. And you know, YouTube did try to get us to all adjust our pricing. So YouTube was supposed to go up on member pricing if you wanted to. I kept everyone the same. Eventually, it's going to go up, but the way it's going to work in the future is everyone who's a member now pays $2.99. I'm still keeping it at $2.99, but by the end of the year, it's going to change. But if you're a member consistently, you stay at $2.99. You don't go up. When I raise the price of tier from $2.99 to $3.99, new members will pay $3.99. Old members won't. That's how the new system is going to work. So everyone who's supported stays grandfathered in, and I really appreciate it. So everyone who's already a member, thank you so much. You get 25% off this. So this would be 11 and a quarter or something like that. Which basically, if you're not a member, join up for $3 and you pay 11, you save like $1, and you're a member for a month and you get other downloads, and you'll get 25% off everything else in the store. So more than pays for itself. So yeah, I hope hope this was great for everyone. I like to see one on textures. I did, yeah, like. Give me some examples, Brian. Like, message me. You start building the arm. Oh, you saw that. Yes, I did start building the Armageddon box. I got a couple built. I'm going to be doing some videos on that in the near future. If you're interested, Zarzan69, I am starting another channel, which is going to be Tabletop Airbrush. There's only a few members on it. I haven't done live feeds or anything on it. I haven't put many videos on it. I think I only got one video. That is coming, so if you want to get in on the ground floor, that's coming up. I am going to be doing a bunch on Armageddon especially, so yeah, that's a lot to build. But yeah. Joe, my eyes, I'll be on this one after know the flames and spheres. Yep, cool. Yeah, Brian, just give me some example of textures, like textures as far as like real world textures, fantasy textures, pattern textures. You know, put it in the comments, message me, and we'll start figuring out. I'm thinking, you know, I've been wanting to do this one here. I've been wanting to redo the fire aviator skull because I did the aviator skull as a tone on tone, like sepia tone, but I haven't done it in fire tone, so I am toying with that idea. So yeah, that might be a future one. Hope you guys had a great night. Have an awesome weekend. And I will see you guys next week. It is 10:01. Oh, 10:02 actually. I've got my big old clock here now in front of my face. So thanks guys. Have a great night. I'm off. Gonna go finish some murals up tomorrow. And go rest my leg because it hurts. And